Hello, everybody. What's going on? I actually want to talk about mental health once again. This time, save yourselves, black men, black mental health, and all that for men and all that, especially black men. Um, it's been a while since I've done this. Actually, ironically, I have met a new cousin of mine, which I just found out today. So, she's definitely a pure sweethearted person and all that. Telling me about my mother and grandmother, and found out one of my other cousins on my mother's side passed away last week or so, which I didn't even know was there either. It's like, wow, people dropping like flies and all that. And speaking on that, it's like, let's read here. I'm drowning. I can't get out of debt. No friends, no family. I need help. I need help at hand. Anybody? Man, man up. Stop complaining. Call if I'm about to drown. Ask for help. You're too emotional. Um, I guess I want to follow with a video why men don't open up and all that. For example, I'm gonna explain my story. I was forced to get mental health against my will and all that. I shared the story so many times back in 2006 and all that. Me and my cousin and all that, we got beat up by the police or so because of mistaken identity for criminals and all that because of our skin color and all that. Then add on additional, I was in had to do community service. They had to do like basically a whole year of forced anger management and all that. Mm. Wow, I finally got that. There was something stuck in my teeth or so. And I finally got it out. Oh, cool. Yeah, black men dealing with depression. And it started pretty nice. There's actually a black female therapist and all that understand me. So I think we were talking about why black people don't get mental health and all that. And and it's quite interesting while I was in forced therapy in my teenager years and all that. And I did admit that it was kind of hectic, you know what I'm saying? Now looking back at it, that's the first time I was forced to get mental health and all that. For 1 year, I was locked up and all that. Did juvie time and all that just for a little bit. Um, and the second time that I got therapy and all that, forcefully against my will, when I mentioned that I tried to delete myself. If you know what that is, do the censorship with YouTube and all that. And back in um, 2016, so after 2 years after my mother passed. I mean, my mother passed in 2003. My dad passed in 2014. In 2016, so 2 years after my dad passed, I mean, I was trying to hurt myself and all that, and I shouldn't admit that to a therapist. And I got forced to a psychological hospital and all that against my will for like 2 weeks or so. Then I share a little story with that because I think they had put me on drugs or so. So my memory was kind of fuzzy. I remember that's running with me and a white guy and all that. Let's just call him Rocco, like call him Rocky or so, just to protect his identity. And I guess he remember. I guess the way it was shared to me, and I remember some of it like it was like a crazy older white woman and all that, but had like a sugar addiction and all that. So I guess the thing about addiction, like we thought that she OD'd and all that. I remember I guess was giving us some sugar. She was looking at us beggars for sugar. I said, "Here you go," and we thought we, destroyed the lady till one of the nurses calmed us down and all that. Cause we were like panicking and all that. I said we didn't meant to hurt this lady or anything. We just gave her what she was asking for. Found out that she was really addicted to sugar and boy. And yeah. I guess what I was trying to say is that mine didn't come naturally, until my new female, because we were talking about this today, that she made that we talk about family, like trauma, broken families, and all that, lack of masculinity in black households and all, which is ironic. I talk about that. Don't date single mothers and all that. And you already know that old deal about don't date single mothers, but I ain't gonna drag that for too long. But anyway, talk about black men dealing with depression. If you could afford it, and therapy's not cheap. I actually talk about this so many times that therapy's not cheap, and plus I feel like it kind of cheap in the way it's like not sound like I'm trying to sound conceited or disrespectful. Anything, a lot of the therapists and psychologists I talked to weren't black. You know what I'm saying? And that makes it kind of difficult to really relate to too. Like not putting people out like that, anything, but they were either whites and woman and the psychologist. I am gonna say, um, what's today's date? It's April 6th, 2025, and all that. It's like around 11:44 at night. You ready to make some tea real quick? I'm ready for some tea, some fresh tea. And if you can afford therapy, by all means get it. You know what I'm saying? If you're comfortable, and I want to say save yourself as a black man about this too. It's like, I could be ignorant about this myself. I was forced to get help, so I didn't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? And don't let my words derive you. If you need help, by all means, if you can afford it, if you can get therapy and psychology and all that, that's easier said than done. And my female cousin, we just talked about this today, that she needs therapy and all that. It was pretty profound to admit that to get help is a difficult thing, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you are dealing with any kind of mental stress, depression, debt, and all that, especially we talk about, dealing with the economy and all that, a lot of debt, a lot of people don't have, I'm very thankful just running to my new cousins. It's like, wow, I can't believe, on my mother's side, because basically, make a long story short, majority of my mother's side of the family were kind of toxic and all that. And I won't drill too much on this in this episode or anything. But basically, and unfortunately, some of the family members I grew up on, we basically have fallen on a bad terms and all that. And I can't lie to anything about it because the way somebody was treating me was not that good. I'm just trying not to put too much family business about because, And I know that's easier said than done when dealing with depression, anxiety, dealing with I'm not going to dwell too much on my medical history either, but I'm just going to say I do take medicine for my needs and all that, I know that not too many people care about what black men go through or anything, And it took me some painful years too. Looking back a lot of my videos for the last couple of days, looking back some of my old videos, and I kind of admit that some of it was kind of negative and even toxic to a degree. And I apologize that in advance, you know what I'm saying? As I'm learning now, as I'm growing older and all that. I'm gonna be in my first 6 this year. Making me some tea before I go to bed. Craving some good tea. Some herbal tea, I guess what my recommendation as far as mental health is, please go get the help. Try to listen to affirmations, positive affirmations. It's okay to admit that that you're not okay, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a therapist or anything, by all means, just these are my own problems, And I can't sit there and lie to the bros or anything, or men in general, if you are admit that you need help, by all means get it if you can afford it, because therapy's not cheap, And not put people down or anything, but a lot of people I'm talking to aren't black or anything, so it's like kind of like a double dilemma, you know. And the reason I'm making this video too, cause like it's very interesting here about mental health this way, you know. That we can admit that we got problems, you know. None of us ain't perfect, you know. And also dealing with toxic psychology and all that, and especially the amount of times that, you know, men ain't got no outlet, you know. I'm very thankful for my outlet being music and content creation, you know. That's what I'm very thankful for, you know. Without the music, I probably would not be here to begin with, you know. I know I'm not very good to say this in words because a lot of it was not natural coming up and all that. I am going to see my therapist this Tuesday and all that. And it feels pretty good, you know. It feels pretty good, you know. Throwing this stuff away real quick, you know. I'm glad that I'm able to make a video about this too, you know. And a lot of men are suffering alone and all that, especially I did talk about this so many times about male loneliness and all that, you know, especially myself, black man loneliness, you know. And here's the negative. I'll come out the closet saying this one. It's like the reason I don't reveal too much what I go through besides my music and on here and all that, to be real, because people try to exploit you, try to, you know, make you feel less than average and all that, you know. They try to use your vulnerability and vulnerability and all that, you know. And I'm painful to realize that too. It's like when I talk to my psychologist, you know, I don't tell what I go through, you know. I know it sounds fake and all that, and I kind of admit that too. But after I learned what happened back in 2016, it's like, oh no. You know, so I'd rather do videos and vlogging and music and all that than be going to a psych ward against my own will again. Oh no. But don't let my words change your mind or anything, you know. Please get the help if you can, you know. And a lot of black men today, I could be ignorant about this myself because I ain't paid attention to a lot of current times and all that besides the economy and inflation and tariffs and all that, you know. But that's not important, you know. You know, we need to come together, you know, include, you know, women too and all that, you know. I'm kind of like learning this the painful way too. It's like the things I'm saying I do kind of like, do I regret the things I say and do? Some of it I do, you know. Some of I don't, you know. And I have been forced to be aware my whole entire life, you know. Especially like my upbringing to taking care of disabled parents and all that. My mother dealt with mental health and my dad had did with physical health. We're dealing with dialysis and all that, you know. And I'm going to see a bad doctor the same day, Tuesday, and all that Tuesday morning. And it sucks dealing with chronic health issues, you know. On the contrary, I'm just trying to stay positive, you know. I love sounding with a tea. I put tea in my coffee maker and all that. But I do feel with this, you know. You're drowning, can't get out of debt, no friends, no family. I need help of anybody. And especially especially in America / the West, that a lot of black men are suffering, you know what I'm saying? Men in general, too, but I'm just speaking to black men here. It's like, but I have to say this too, not everybody's your friend, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to really open up about this myself because people twist your words make you a villain and all that, make you an enemy and all that, you know. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. Martell's out.